Good morning, and happy Friday as we get ready for another big match this weekend as the Reds take on Manchester City before another 2-week international break. We looked at the last international break, Cozzy, as a period of like a separation, almost like what happens, I think, when you have like either like a jilted lover, abusive partner, whatever it is, and you need just a little bit of a break from each other. Get yourselves back on track. Ryan, good morning, up the Reds. But amazing what a week can do to the temperament and the overall flow of a football side. You know, we were here last Friday. We tried to stay positive. We were frustrated coming off the Palace result, and more importantly, the approach. And we both said the manager would get vindicated on what happened over the next week. So far, so good.
Yep.
And we both did say we would sign off and shake hands last Friday to end the show on 7 points as long as we got victories out of the first two. I'm going to show the normal Italian flip-flopper that I am. It's no longer good with those 7. I want all fucking 9 because I got those 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, Liverpool have been great. The last two. Shown fight, spirit, desire to win the games that they're playing in, which is we haven't seen, I don't think, since Spurs when we won the league.
Good point.
So at least for 90 minutes, I thought we were really good for the derby, for 30 minutes and things like that. But for at least for the full 90s, it's the best performances that we've had. And that's full credit to the manager, full vindication in what he's done in terms of like the vert on the left. It's a big decision to drop Gakpo when he's scoring. Whether we like Gakpo or not, he scores a goal, which helps. I think he was like 3-3 or 4-4 or something. So he was actually kind of in good form. So he makes a big decision against Real Madrid. I would say he was vindicated in that. So that's full credit to him there. He's made a big, well, I don't think it's a big decision, but probably to him it is, in terms of getting Robertson back in the team. And I think Robertson's been amazing since he's came back. So we need to kind of full credit to the manager, and he completely deserves it. What I will say is it's mad to me, and this is how sometimes I think football managers and players are not the brightest in the world, where we have our manager who's saying we cannot defend a long ball for 6 weeks. I don't know how we're going to stop this. We really hate the long ball. And then I get Unai Emery coming out trying to play like a prime Brazil in 1970. And I'm like, I don't understand what you did there. So I would say that the opponents are playing into our hands really well. Like Liverpool have stepped up to play against better players. And there's not that like one stylistic thing that they were going to do, which has helped. And listen, that's a positive, of course. But that's the one thing I would say. But we also know that Man City are not going to really be playing long too often. So it might be playing into Liverpool's hands again. But no, it's full credit to the lads. They've been tremendous the last 2 games. I thought we had 11 lads on the pitch against Real Madrid all to be man of the match. They were all brilliant, and that's amazing to have as well. So, yeah, man, it's. I was a little bit like, you know, we had the joke just then about the taking the point v City. I just don't think they're going to afford to drop any more points because Arsenal don't look like they're dropping anything. So,
yeah, another clean sheet midweek for Arsenal. You know, I mean, I think it's unridiculous. I think it's 9 consecutive competitive matches without conceding a goal. They've conceded 3 goals this year, 1 to Newcastle, 1 to City, and the 1 to Liverpool.
And the support is unsavable.
And the goal by Haaland really, you know, is a little bit of a mistake, but it's Haaland, and you give him a chance, he will take it. And the goal even against Newcastle, you know, it's really scary. I mean, what they're doing. I do think that when you look at how much they're scoring from set pieces, it's the way of the league at the moment. You made a comment. We had get right matches. Like in other sports, people say like this is a get right day for a guy, right? Like you get this team, it's how you get off the snide. Villa was a perfect side for that because, to your point, they could have launched some long balls into the box. They could have done things different. It's not Unai Emery's model to tailor his tactics. And I do think, you know, in this case, what Arne Slot needed more than anything was some teams to come at him and play football. We knew Real Madrid wasn't going to show up and, you know, start doing long throws into the box. Their fans would boo as quickly as our fans would have, I think. They were the perfect setup, but you still have to do the work on the pitch. There were opportunities at times, you know. The manager, let's talk about the press conference a little bit. Did you have a chance to hear it this morning?
Yeah, I've read a little bit this morning. He's a lot more in more of a positive mood than he has been.
Shocking. Wins.
It's mad what that can do for you. But no, I agree, mate. Yeah, it's full vindication to the manager. He's been really good the last 2 games. I think his subs have been brilliant, and you know what I mean. So yeah, man, it's exciting. But I'm a bit like yourself a little bit. Again, with the opponents, you just said they would get right. It's a great way of putting it. I was very much if Liverpool beat City to be turned the corner. I think if you beat Forest after the international break, where Forest are just going to launch it to Chris Wood, even if Liverpool win even if Liverpool beat City, I want to see them to see how they counteract that style again.
It's important because we are going to go on a run here against winnable fixtures where we could put together. If we could get this to work, and I'm not using the when it clicks, we all decided we would bin that term, like we bin number 12 on Real Madrid, because we don't need to talk about subs that come on at the last 10 minutes of a match. And let's just be, while we talk about the Madrid match a little bit, and we can talk a little bit about the player and that response from the crowd. I want to give the Anfield faithful a lot of credit. They always get up for European nights, but I felt like in this match specifically, they played a big part in making sure the lads knew they had their backs at the right moments. Like I joked with you last week, I think it was, right? Or maybe it was it was Monday night with Bickler and Timuchin. I joked, in some ways, I hope they win the coin toss and they turn us around so that the cop can just, like we did against City in that big Champions League tie, and Ox scores the first 2 goals in the first half and the match is over. And I know we don't score in the first half, but I thought every time they cheered on a tackle, every time they cheered nice little link-up play, they cheered the keeper a couple times. I think one time they gave Kanate a cheer because he actually passed it to the keeper's left peg, and they were pretty happy about that at the moment. Like, I loved how the supporters understood their role in the night, and they all wanted to take their pound of flesh out on the ex-player who left, but they didn't make it about him until the match was towards the end. And then they also let that vitriol know. And I think it's telling when the captain says the supporters were amazing tonight. They had our backs. I loved the cheers and the boos. Like the captain actually made a quote to say, and the boos, because I think in some ways he was sick all week of being asked about Trent. And he appreciated that the supporters treated him like he was a player on Real Madrid. It was one thing last year for supporters to argue with each other. They had that right when he was a Liverpool player playing in red for a team trying to win a title. I don't think there's anyone who has any right to tell a supporter how to feel today, especially one who grew up in that city. So this will be my last time of asking you, because I don't think we'll play them again. I really don't, because I don't believe you think we'll end up drawing them, don't you, later in the league? Then I'll ask you this. How important was the win and the performance if we do see them in the quarterfinals, semifinals of this competition? Because they got to come back here, those lads, and they know they've lost the last 2 on this pitch. And honestly, they've been thoroughly outplayed outside of their keeper in both of them.
Most one-sided games ever. I mean, Liverpool were brilliant on the night. And I don't want this to be kind of understated, Liverpool's win. They won 10 and 11 in the league. And Mbappe's absolutely flying. And I've had enough of like when Liverpool win a game, they were like, oh, yeah, but it's not the same Real Madrid. And I get that. It's not the one with Modric, Kroos and Casemiro. It's not. It's still the ones that win European Cups and Champions League. There's still loads of winners in there. And, you know, Mbappe's won the World Cup. Like, it's still unbelievable football players in this side who've won 10 out of 11. The credit should be all for Liverpool for making them look this season
100%.
to making them look like that. Tchouameni and Camavinga as a partnership are as good as anything in world football when they're playing well. At least they're as good as anything, and I want that to be the story. You know what I mean? I think the crowd thing's interesting. I also think there's a part of this. We don't get the Madrid performance if you don't beat Villa. Do you know what I mean? You don't get that because, you know, it's on the back of something now. It's like, okay, you've got your big win, you've got your clean sheet, you've all played well against Villa. We're rolling now. It didn't matter who was going to show up. Do you know what I mean? It didn't really matter. So there's that argument. But no, the Trent thing's interesting. Again, I'm not. People can feel how they feel. I'm very much he's a rat. He should never be welcome back. And there's various reasons for that. The main one being, you don't sell me a story for 10 years that you're a fan playing on the pitch and this is the great, this is the greatest thing in the world and all stuff like that. Playing for your football club and you want to be the captain and you want to be the next Steven Gerrard, and then you run down your contract and leave on a free, and then you have the nerve to start speaking Spanish in your first press conference. Like, and it wasn't 6 months on Duolingo. That was like fucking 18 months of learning with proper what was going on.
That was basically right around the time when the message changed from being the next captain to winning the Ballon d'Or.
This is the point, and so this is my point. Like, so, but if other people, again, I'm not here to judge how every Liverpool fan should feel. I'm just telling you how I feel. He should never be welcome back. He should be treated how he's treated. You took the money, and I've got no problem, by the way, if you're taking the money, because it's your decision, it's your life. You're 25.
Then you get the fallout.
But you also deal with the consequences. You don't tell us how to feel. You have the nerve to throw yourself a party and call it the summer of '66. How absolutely up your own arse can you be? How literally head up your own arse can you be? How self-centered can you be? I really, there was a moment in the second half when Robertson got close to him, and Robertson was flying. I was like, and Robertson, and I think Trent kind of got the pass off, and I was just hoping he was just going to whip him and clean him out. And
I thought, honestly, there was 1.2 where he came breaking down the right side a little bit, and maybe it was his second or third touch. And you could almost see Jones lining him up for a Scouser on Scouser crime. And if anyone was going to clean him out on that pitch, it was going to be Jones.
Like really bad, like a bad one. I genuinely think I'd still be in the pub now. I would have went out. I would have just got dressed and went, I'll see you in a week. I'm going out. I'm just watching that clip on replay. So I just feel like, again, do you know what I mean? It's just, we should kind of, he is a Real Madrid player, and he should be treated like a Real Madrid player. He should be treated as the same player who beat us in 2 finals. He should be treated like that. He should be treated as the same player who came to Anfield a few years ago when we were 2-0 up and swung the ball around in the second half and beat us 5-2. And we should treat him like that. So he's gone. He's finished. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him again. I think we will. That's it. I think eventually, to win the European Cup, you need to beat Real Madrid, or you need to beat a Barca. You need to beat a Bayern. You might get lucky and one of them play each other, but I still think we'll probably play them later on in the season. And I also probably still don't think he starts, because Carvajal will probably be back from his injury anyway.
Exactly.
And I know Trent had his injury as well, by the way, because Trent's kind of coming back for the people who didn't know. But I think Carvajal will be back, and I don't think he'll probably get on the pitch anyway.
I just want to clear up with Ryan. You know, Ryan made this comment. Anfield has been opposite of the media and social media. As cold and callous as social media has been, crowds have been the opposite. Do a couple things here. Wasn't completely saying I never said the crowd booed a Liverpool player. I said the manager, the captain mentioned he liked the boos because they invigorated the fact that the crowd cared like he did. That being said, there were tads of unrest and angst within the Anfield crowd during the losing streak. There was murmurings, not boos, but there was frustration against United. And there have been people, not just on social media, there have been people in the media, in the fan base media, guys at the Anfield Wrap questioning whether the manager was the right call. So this idea that it's only the people hiding in the corners being negative about this club over the last few months, it's okay to support a club, be behind the players, but not be okay with how things are going at the moment. There's ways to do it. You shouldn't be berating players. We shouldn't be toxically calling for them, and attacking their family in the crowd. But ultimately, that was just my point. I wanted to clear that up. But we have too many positive things to talk about. But one thing Tamuchin mentions, and we're getting closer. But he says, hit the likes, everyone. We got 9 viewers and 2 likes. That's bad math. We're up to 7 likes. So let's keep those likes coming. If you're watching right now, all you had to do was get negative about Trent. If only you would talk about Costas this way, the Turkish Stallion would absolutely support you at all times. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, this might have been the best news that came out of the press conference. It was a throwaway line at the end. When asked about Frimpong and Allison, the manager said Allison, at this point, with no setbacks, will be ready for the Forest match and is not going on international duty with Brazil. So those 2 pieces were probably the most important pieces of news. Though I think the backup keeper has had his moments. Weak for the second goal against Brentford, no questions asked. Needs to be bigger on that one. He's learning on the job. He wasn't supposed to play this much football yet, but he has to be.
I thought he was really good for the Bellingham chance. I think it's a great save on this line.
I do too. I don't think he's getting enough credit. I talked to you, I think, in chat, and the save against Villa on the deflected ball by Matty Cash, where he's leaning the other way because it's a cross. If you don't make that save, the whole game is different. So really happy that he got this baptism by fire. We'll be just as happy not to see him play another competitive match until a dead rubber or the FA Cup third round.
It's hard this Gal, I know what you're saying, but there's also a part where I know it's a goalkeeper, so you can't say ease them back in because it's just a goalkeeper. You can't.
So you're thinking maybe rotate a little bit when the matches call for it?
You wouldn't mind doing Mamardashvili v Forest and then doing PSV for Alisson. Do you get what I mean? That's all. You might just say, let's just give you an extra game. Let's just give you an extra 5-6 days to really make sure you're right before. Do you know what I mean? So there is that argument to like Mamadash. But by the way, that's full credit to the keeper for us having that conversation. We're not begging for Alisson to come back because the keeper's falling apart. But I know he's himself well. He's done okay.
He was good against Real Madrid with his distribution as well.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
really good.
He's not Alisson. But do you know what the problem with that statement is? Neither are every single goalkeeper in the world, bar the asshole who plays for Real Madrid. Because let's be real. We can talk shit all we want. He is
unbelievable.
He has moved into an all-time great status. Yes. If you think about how good he was on loan at Atletico Madrid before he even made it at Chelsea, then he won league titles with Chelsea. Then he moves to Madrid and continues to improve. And I think it's a sign of greatness when you move to better sides and you get better with them, but you also make players around you better.
Wasn't he the keeper in the Atletico Madrid team for the final, wasn't he? That they lost. He was a goal, and he was like 23 at the time. He was like a young keeper at the time on loan from Chelsea. So, no, man, he's an unbelievable goalkeeper. By the way, I think some of the saves that he made against us, some of them were bad finishes, you know. Like, some of them were right at him. The Van Dijk one's right at him. And I get it. Like, Van Dijk couldn't do much. I'm not saying that's a bad, but it's right at him. You know what I mean? The Ekatike one, straight after, I expect him to save. You know what I mean? The best save's the Szoboszlai save. It's a joke.
It's an unbelievable save. He has another one, too, where he gets so low in one of the corners. And then he saves those 3 consecutive corners where we just keep... Yep. And obviously... And I bet if we had him right now as a guest, he'd tell you the one he should have saved was the McAllister header because he gets a hand on it.
He's been done for pace, hasn't he? Which is fine. And again, that can happen to a keeper. But sometimes he's just a phenomenal goalkeeper. I like the idea of where he comes back to England and he has a chip on his shoulder. Like he didn't get the respect there. I quite like that about players.
Well, he didn't.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't. But he's like, I'm going to show you. And I quite like when a player has a chip on the shoulder. It's just unfortunate for Liverpool that it's us that play them. Why can't he just go and draw Chelsea?
I don't know if you've seen the stat since the kickoff of the 2022 Champions League final. He has made, if you take all the saves he's made in the Champions League, 24.5% of them are against Liverpool.
It's wild, isn't it?
It's only 3 matches.
It's just wild. I know, because to be fair, those type of stats are class. I think Lunan gets a season because he was injured for the season. Courtois and that, you know what I mean? I think, was he in goal for the 5-2 in games? I think it was Lunan, but I can't remember. But
it's just insanity, though.
It is. He's an unbelievable goalkeeper, and again, that's why Gal going back to the main point. I want the credit to be on Liverpool. This is all about Liverpool.
Correct.
Like, it should be about Liverpool. It should be like, oh, Real Madrid was shit. No, Liverpool made them look like garbage, and that's what it should be. And I just don't want the narrative to change, and I want the full credit to be on the boys. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what they completely deserve.
So let's go back to We'll kind of transition back to the presser a bit. A couple other topics that came up. Obviously, he's asked about Florian Wirtz. He's going to be asked about Florian Wirtz every week because he's a top footballer. He's a record club signing, and he has had an up and down period. I wouldn't even say up and down as if he's been poor, because I think overall, if you rated his performance start to finish for the minutes he's on the pitch, he's been fine this year. He could be better. There are things he has to work on to assimilate to this league, of course, and to a new club, a new country. He's 22 years old. People just gloss over that constantly. And he has created, I think now it's the second most chances and the most chances per 90 in the Premier League. So if 2 or 3 of those hit the back of the net, nobody's talking about no goal involvements. I mean, that's the pass where he pops up. He comes up out of the ground like a groundhog on the right-hand side, picks the ball up, finds Szoboszlai, and then Courtois makes a worldie of a save. There's not much you can do there.
It's a great pass.
The link up with Ekatike, I thought in the first half, some of the 1-2s they were playing, the spatial awareness, the runs they were each making to make space for other players was very Bobby-esque. I'm not comparing either player to Bobby, but what he did, and I think you saw the best of Mo in that. And the Connor Bradley Soboslai connection with Mo can't be overlooked either. Bradley was tremendous against Madrid.
Yeah.
I know you said 11 guys could win man of the match. I'd argue probably 7 were in the running, but I think I was hard pressed, as good as Soboslai was and McAllister. It was hard pressed for me to say it wasn't Connor Bradley for 2 reasons. 1, the way he handled Vinny Jr. on that whole entire side by himself. 2, the fact that we question so often whether he can do 90s back to back, and he put in his 2 best performances back to back.
Yeah,
in a Liverpool shirt, in my opinion.
The Bradley argument, mate, has always been, for me, okay, we need to see if he's good enough, because I still don't know if he is good enough to be a full right back for Liverpool for 10 years. But the way that we fucking find out is that you got to play footy. The way that you play football is be fit. You're not fit. You can be, again, I said this on the Thursday podcast last night, you can be Cafu, but if you're not fit, you're not help to me. So the best ability in football is availability. You've got to be available. You've got to make me pick you. So, okay, you've had 2 really, really good performances. You're probably going to start against City. Hopefully you do well again. I need you to come back from the Northern Ireland international break. And I know you got big games for them. I get it. And you're a big leader for them.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to come back from the international break. And I need you to start playing a lot of footy. Yes, we can do a bit of rotation. For example, I wouldn't mind seeing Kirkes and Frimpong versus PSV. I wouldn't mind at home. It's an Anfield, that game, in the midweek. Before the Sunderland game. Although I can't remember anyway. But I know we have Forest, PSV and someone else. I wouldn't mind seeing that, to give you that week off. But it's also to be a real top player for Liverpool. He has to be fit. So, but no, going back to like Szoboszlai, and I kind of said this yesterday. You know, I'm his biggest critic because he doesn't get the numbers. But I've consistently said he's our most important midfielder because he's the only one who can run. And now he's at the stage where I need you to be a leader. Now, you're 25, but you're not a kid. It's like, this is the starting to be the prime of your career. You are the captain for your country at such a young age. Now it's like, hey, let's go and lead this Liverpool team. Let's go and be the main man in the midfield. Let's go and say, drag these performances on. Let's go and say when we're going to press or when we're going to bait the press. Let me talk around the other lads. Take some ownership. You have all the physical attributes to be an unbelievable midfielder. You're strong, you're quick, you're powerful, 6'2", whatever, handsome, good looking, got everything.
Look at that head of hair.
He's got everything. He's got the full package, the kid. Well, I need you to start being a leader then. I need you to start dragging other lads by the the scruff of the neck when they're struggling.
I think we've started to see it. We've started to see it. He was much more vocal the last 3-4 matches specifically.
He's been brilliant this season.
Yeah, and
all season.
I mean, someone said it the other day. If you asked me right now, 3 years from now, on this side, if I just look at this side, who, if they're still here, has a chance to maybe be the captain when Virgil leaves? I'd argue right now, Szoboszlai is the one in the frame to be that guy.
Yeah,
that's
a fair point,
captain for his country.
Yeah.
He is growing into his role. I do think when he first arrived, he had those couple first matches where it was really bright. He took the shots from outside the box. We were like, oh, this is different. We haven't had a midfielder like this in a while. And then I think the weight of the shirt, I think the weight of the number 8, the expectations that people were calling him the best midfielder since Gerrard after 5 matches was ludicrous. And the fact he was replacing Keita also meant everyone had this, he can't be worse than that mentality, because
he's got to be fitter than that.
Well, he's proven that. I mean, he made it through 48 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the other midfield too, McAllister and Gravenberch. Really great seeing them back together. Gravenberch, just a really class performance. You can see it oozes out of him. His confidence is there. Times he makes some rash decisions. Went up 2-0. He decided to go forward and try to get the third against Villa. Next thing you know, there's 5 coming at 2, and you're like, wait a second, you were the deepest midfielder and you just outran everybody. Like, to play a 1-2 with Ekitike, we lose it on the box. I think some of that's tactical, some of that's instructed. It can be corrected. McAllister finally looked like McAllister for a full 90 minutes against Real Madrid, and you see his importance on the pitch. I love the fact that he admitted that his job in that instance was to block for Virgil, and then the ball just found his forehead, so I hit it in.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as well. You just find yourself in there. Oh, this is a big bang. There you go.
Smallest guy on the pitch gets a game-winning header. Ridiculousness when it came. I have to ask you this. It was ridiculous that it took as long as it did to realize a player was onside that was onside by 2 feet. what in the Christ was the referee doing in the first half? Like, he looked like he was lined up as part of the Madrid defense. I think he broke up 3 counters. He stopped a throw in from happening and then just allowed Real Madrid to just dribble a ball that was rolling to start free play. Like,
he actually switched the play at one point to Vinny Jr. He switched to a 60-yarder and get in there. Nah, man, the referee was wild. I mean, by the way, it's not a pen. I don't think that's a pen. I know people can have the argument. I don't think it's a pen. I actually think the decision's been made correct.
You know what? I want to correct some people too, because I've heard people comparing it to what happened against Brentford, and that it's a difference between the leagues. It had nothing to do with the leagues. Just so everyone's clear, against Brentford, he thinks he's out of the box, so he calls a foul because, to be fair, Liverpool had about 4 fouls in the build-up to that point. It was very weak, but he's like, you know what, guys, fuck off. It's 5 fouls in 30 seconds. I'm calling this one on the edge of the box. VAR then says, you called it a foul. Do you think it's a foul? He's like, yeah, it was a foul. They're like, well, we got shit out of luck for you. It was in the box. Yeah. So it has to be a penalty. Soft or not, that's the rules. It's a piece of fact. The handball,
you can review.
It's never a handball, but it can't be reviewed if it's outside the box. But once VAR determines it's in the box, they have the ability to say, we question your decision on the field as a handball. You should come look at the monitor. The referee went to the monitor, saw his mistake, and called it off. I've been saying this for a long time. Like, when they administer VAR correctly, I'm never going to complain, especially when the on-field referee goes and corrects his own decision. That, to me, is a perfect example of VAR. I call a handball outside the box. No, it's in the box. We also don't know if it's a handball. All right, I'll go look at it. Take it away. And for everyone freaking out because it went out for a corner, if play is stopped for any reason inside the box, the ball goes to the opponent's goalkeeper on a restart. So the ref was madness. He was high entertainment, and because we won, I had no issue because I love entertainment and fucked up funny people, and he was fucked up and funny. But for everyone out there doing the, Real Madrid get all the calls, that should have been a penalty. If you think that's a penalty, and I don't care if it's Europe, if that's a penalty, the game's fucking gone.
It's soft, isn't it? It's not a pen. It's not a pen. I think the referee's called that straight away. I think the referee's been completely fair when in that case. I think you've got it completely right, and that's why VAR should be implemented, because that'd be so poor. If that's a Liverpool player, mate,
we're losing our minds.
Losing your mind to give that penalty away. We weren't really losing our minds against Brentford because we were just so garbage anyway, and we should have been 6-1 down.
Well, we didn't deserve anything in the
fight was beaten out of us. Do you know what I mean? The fight was beaten out of us anyway. So, yeah, it is what it is. Listen, it's one of them. I feel like with Liverpool now, I've had enough of this, like feeling sorry for each other because we've been on such a bad run. Sometimes you get your breaks. Sometimes you get better breaks as well, by the way. When you play well, you get your break. Sometimes, for example, the Matty Cash one hits Van Dijk and just loops over the goalkeeper's head and goes in. Well, that's sometimes the luck that you can earn when you play well. And Liverpool have been brilliant for the last 2 games, and hopefully we can roll it on against City and be brilliant again.
So speaking of the City matchup and other things coming out of the presser, obviously, as you can imagine, Schlatt was asked about Isak, his availability, his fitness. He said he has not trained yet. Today was his first day scheduled to train with the side, so he'll get 2 training sessions in, potentially available from the bench. When you hear he hasn't trained in 3 weeks, it's a potential he's available.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put him on the bench in a break glass situation for 15, 20 minutes, or would you wrap him up cotton and wool and give Sweden a bigger excuse for why you're not releasing him for international duty?
If we're playing Saturday, definitely not. With it being Sunday, can you do 10? Can you do 15 for you? Can you give the Ekatike the break?
Well, and that's clearly needed because we've seen it once again where Ekatike can give you hard work for about 70 minutes, but he's gassed just about every match he plays on 70. I'm not sure if he's actually played a full 90 yet. I feel like he's been subbed off in almost every match, and that might be the difference of the leagues, the amount of minutes he's playing. It might be them protecting him because Isak is already showing a willingness to pick up, a muscle injury. My only concern with Isak is And I was not one who was doom and gloom when it came to the old muscle injuries, because like you, I looked at the fact that he only missed 4 matches in the last 2 years, or 4 matches due to muscle injuries over the last season and a half. I'm still not over the top on it, but Slot mentioned that he risked him once and he lost him for 3 more weeks. Right the day after he said his preseason is over, his excuses are over, and then he gave us 45 minutes of football and pulled a hamstring, and Slot kind of blamed himself for that. Do you think in the back of his mind that might worry him a bit? I think he'll be on the bench purely so Pep has to think about him no matter what, because God knows if you're going to put a second keeper on the bench, you might as well put your striker even if you don't intend to play him.
Yeah, no, I think he's probably on the bench. I think it's worth 10 minutes of Liverpool losing 2-1, and you want to throw something else on, just like a bit of a diddle. But Chiesa's playing well as well, so Chiesa can kind of give him that food for thought.
I thought that went under the radar as well, like usual. That Chiesa put in a really good professional subs performance against Real Madrid, running his socks off, working hard for the side, creating and popping up in space. It would be interesting for me.
It looks like he felt a part of it, didn't he? Like, I'm a part of this team now, I'm actually contributing. And that's what the performances are looking like to me.
It feels like the manager is starting to give him that, the confidence the manager is by using him in moments that aren't just break glass in case of emergency. You know, he's coming into match. He came into a match with us up 1-0.
Yeah.
That's not what his MO has been so far. You know, obviously we'll see Salah on the right. We'll see Ekitike through the middle or whatever formation. You expecting Wirtz on the left?
Yeah, same team. Completely same team. There's 5 days rest. There's no conversation. I know we mentioned Robertson, that Robertson might not be.
He did. He 2 or 3 times he drove back to, well, he didn't just play twice. He played 3 times this week because I started him against Palace as well. And I personally don't think he'll make the mistake of starting Kirkez unless sports science team comes in and says there is some red flag here. We worry that there'll be an injury. I don't think, if you were so willing to throw Kirkez out from the beginning of the season, I think you have to be confident to start Robertson in this match. Cross your fingers about the 2 weeks off with Scotland, and then say to Kirkez, hey kid, you're probably going to start the Forest match or start the PSV match. We're going to reintegrate you into this lineup slowly. I could see Robertson playing in this one. I could see Kirkez maybe being brought on for the final 20 or so to give fresh legs, especially if they start making attacking moves, putting some tricky winger out. You know, you get Oscar Bob comes in on the 70th minute and he's out there dancing, trying to make plays or make moves happen. I could see him going to Kirkez just for the pace and kind of the youth. For me, it has to be Andy Robertson. I'm surprised he started all 3 matches this week. I won't lie. But I think after the first 2, you're sending a really bad message, not just to the guys in the dressing room, but to the traveling supporters who were crying for him and are so happy that he's back. Like, sometimes you have a security blanket and you don't take it off. And that's what it feels like to me.
A security blanket can only be someone who can contribute. Like, this is the point. This is my argument with Gomez. We got to protect Gomez. If you don't trust him to play a game, he's not a fucking security blanket, is he? You've got to trust him to play eventually. Do you know what I mean? So I'm at the stage where Liverpool can't afford to stop any points in the league, so I'm just getting your best team in the league. And if you want to do your diddles against Sunderland at home, I know it's a league game, but I'm just saying Sunderland at home and PSV at home, Inter away, if you want to do your Kirkes and your Frimpong then and stuff like that, and I'm completely fine with that. I'm just more at the case of Liverpool 1 defeat away from being completely out of this title race. So we just need to, and if Robertson's the best form left back, which I believe he is, I think he's been brilliant the last 2 games, then that's the one that has to start v City. Whether you just got to get him on the pitch. Like, even if he's doing 65 minutes and you're still in the game at 0-0 on 65, do you know what I mean? And then Kirkes can come on. Do you know, but this is the thing of, well, we've got to rest him. He's going away for 2 weeks anyway. Are they going to rest him when they're on the cusp of qualifying for the World Cup?
No, he's going to play every minute of every match. And I don't think you can, to your point, I don't think you can manage from a position of fear. I think you need to make smart decisions. Like, I think the manager admitted playing Isak when he did twice, to be honest, didn't wasn't the best thing that he should have done. He probably shouldn't have started him at Frankfurt. He probably shouldn't have started him against Palace, but he didn't have a choice because Ekitike gets sent off.
Exactly, that's just the point. And I feel sorry for the manager in that case. But there's also a part, though, fella, right? What you just said, there's a great point. You can't manage in fear. But he could have done Chiesa and beat Palace when literally the mood of Chiesa was really high. Everyone was all on him. And then the travel support go down. They're on the way down to London. And you go, bang, Chiesa starting. Fuck me, it's going to be great today. And then
imagine that train ride when you get the notification that Chiesa gets his first league start.
Unbelievable. So
a meaningful match.
Comes on, scores. Chiesa that game comes on and scores. Nearly wins you the point. So the manager could have made that different decision. By the way, he probably say I should have trusted Chiesa in that game. And he probably would have that argument, do you know what I mean, to have with himself now, in hindsight, kind of deal. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all in on Robertson again. He's back in the team for me. He is what he is. You've got to look after him. Again, Scotland have got 2 really good games. If Scotland win both games, they finish top of their group in the World Cup.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's kind of crazy. It would be such an accomplishment for Robertson, McGinn, and those guys. Like, they put in so much. And when you think about it, like, they're not going to win anything. They're not winning the World Cup. But that is a squad when you start thinking about, you have, Joel McGinn playing at a big club in Villa. You have Robertson, obviously. McTominay literally was the player of the year in Serie A last year, which is just craziness in itself.
I seen a thing come on. I want to mention this because it's hilarious. I seen a chat that Robertson did in the last international break. It kind of went viral again a little bit. And it was he mentioned the Scotland most cap players, and he's on 88, and Kenny's on 102. And he's like, and I mentioned it to him. He said, I said it like, I'm coming for you. And Kenny went to him, I've seen a lot of boys say that before, and they still can't catch me. Like, as if to say, like, in a very Kenny way, in a very, like, kind of, seen a lot of boys say that, like, you're a boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's kind of.
I love that. That's a classic.
But
again, I love that from Robertson and from Kenny, to be honest.
It's brilliant. That's what I'm saying. It's a great, like, little thing. And I hope Robertson can do it. It'll be amazing. Scotland going to the World Cup. It'll be brilliant for him. He's the captain, of course, and he's, leads your country out in a World Cup. I hope he gets that record, and I hope he takes it from Kenny. I really do. I think it'll be amazing. Because I think as well, I think when you talk about left backs, what he's first of all, I thought he was really good from March last year, and he was one of the only ones who was really good from March last year. I thought Robertson was great. I thought early on before Christmas he was a bag of rags. I thought he was all over the place, right? But I thought he kind of got it together. He wasn't that bad, do you know what I mean? When Liverpool was struggling, and he's went out. He's equipped himself professionally. He's probably looking at the other left back playing and going, why am I not getting in over him? But okay, hasn't thrown his toys out the pram. He's got his opportunity and he's taken it. So I like when players kind of come back. And I also think when it comes to Robertson, he's a little bit underrated in the outside footballing sphere of how good he actually is. Like, I would have him in the top 5 best left backs to play in the Premier League, and I don't sure many will. I think they'd always, like your Ashley Cole and Dennis Irwin and players like that. And but I think Robertson's banging that conversation. So I think if you're sitting there as Scotland's most capped player as well and leading them out into a World Cup and things like that, that it kind of gives them that outside recognition as well. So.
Yeah, I think we know that, right? We know that there's a Liverpool bias. There's a Liverpool bias at times against players. And part of that is us. Like, we build some of our players up to levels where, you hear things like we've talked about it. You just hear these things like that guy on this side is shite. And you're like, if that guy played at this club, he would be a legend. He would be revered.
Argument, isn't it? It's the Florian Wirtz argument. You have one pundit saying he's been awful, but we're watching him every week going, he hasn't been awful. He's been fine. He hasn't been unbelievable pulling trees out, but he's been completely fine. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's the and this is another thing, by the way, and it's going back to the wider point, and it's always like a nice reminder for people. It's based on the trend situation that I heard this week. Stop listening to people from the outside football sphere who have no opinion on Liverpool. Stop listening to people who played most of their careers for Manchester United have their opinion on Liverpool. It means nothing. Do you see what Gary Neville said? I don't care what Gary Neville said about Liverpool Football Club. Why would I care? He literally can't stand us. Why would I care what Roy Keane or Paul Scholes says about Liverpool? Do I find them entertaining to watch? Yes, I listen to them because they're entertaining. But I don't take their... Exactly. The great point here, what Tony just made in the chat there about Rooney. Why do I care what Wayne Rooney thinks? He literally plays for Man United and Everton. He cannot stand Liverpool. Why do I care what he says about my captain? So we should be all taking that with a big, huge pinch of salt, gents, when people from the outside and football and sphere, people on talks about like Gabriel Bonglahor and Jamie O'Hara.
The former players who were jealous of their times at Anfield didn't like coming and playing in front of the crowd.
No. They work for a company who's provided on clicks and content, and they're just making stuff up. And that's what. Don't rise to it. Stop. We all should just blank out people like that, like all the Manchester United legends. Leave them out of us. They're nothing to do with us. We have our own opinion. We're watching Florian Wirtz every week. We have our own opinion on Trent. We can do whatever we want to Trent. We get to create the narrative, not them.
I will say, we're a fan channel, right? We're a supporters group. That's what we are. We're just blokes talking out our ass. Obviously Mark Goldbridge has made a nice career for himself over in England, running the United Stand. He's also talks out his ass and is a supporter that runs a fan channel, makes a lot of money on clicks. I give him credit. All last season, he was adamant on his That's Football channel that everyone needed to shut up about Trent, and that nobody had a right to give an opinion on Trent, because Ferdinand was saying, how can they boo him? And Micah Richards is saying he's done so much and he's won everything. And to a man, he kept saying, the only people you should ask the opinion of are Liverpool supporters, and not just ones who live in Liverpool, the ones all around the world, because it's their club. They get the right to decide how they feel in this situation. And he was spot on. And I give him credit, because if you're going to be bombastic and you're going to live in a world for clicks, you have to at least be realistic for how you would respond if a bunch of Liverpool people, and to be fair, Carragher goes on and on, bagging on United because he's a pundit and he gets paid for it. And listen, on his and Neville's podcast, it's funny because it's banter between two blokes who have figured out a way to make a very good living for each other off of each other. Like, neither one of them would be considered good at their job if they didn't do it together on every program that they're on. Like, they play off each other, and that's fine.
If you're a United fan, you shouldn't just be taking what Jamie Carragher is saying about your football team.
No, don't listen.
Yes, Jamie Carragher has played high-level football. He's a legend of my football club. And Gary Neville's a legend of Manchester United and played high-level football. And, of course, they know more about football than us. But you'd also know yourself, where you watch as much football as they are. You're watching them. You know what a good footy player is now. You know what you're looking at. You know the narrative yourself. Sometimes you can go, you know what, Gary, I agree there, yeah. I can agree with that. But when their podcast is getting 1-2 million listens every single week, and they're sitting there going, don't think that Wirtz has been very well. Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, and Gary Neville sitting there going, don't think that Wirtz has been, Liverpool haven't been great. Nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do. Of course, you don't want them to be great, do you? Of course you don't. Why would you? So let's leave it all. Knock it on the head. Get them out. It's an outside world. This is our bubble. We get to make the decisions about what we feel like with our players and our thingy and how we create the narrative. This is us. And this is what being a fan is. You can listen to them because they're entertaining, but take everything that they say with a pinch of salt. That's it.
So let's flip it around to City a little bit. When it comes to the match on Sunday, City has had a bit of a weird one, to be honest. I mean, we look at City. I love when people are like, oh, people got to watch out for City. People should watch out for City. And then quickly they realize, wow, City are 1 point ahead of Liverpool. And they are playing better, don't get me wrong. But there's 1 point separating us from City in the table.
They've also lost 3 this season in the league.
They've lost 3, and they've lost to lesser opponents. They haven't played as tough of a schedule overall as we have. No. Not even close. No. So with that, the big guy is absolutely on fire. Saw a stat the other day that I'm pretty sure I saw a stat the other day that if he keeps up this pace of goals and performance, he'll score 47 league goals this year. And then the guy goes, I might take the over. Like, obviously, I don't think he's going to score 48 league goals.
I don't think he is, no.
But how do they attack this in your mind? Like, what is the Holland plan? Because I think if you don't have a Holland plan, you often find that it could be a long day for you.
There's no plan. You do your best to stop it. That's all you can. Seriously, he's the best player in the world at the moment. He's the best player in the world. It's not close. It's Haaland and there's everyone else. He's that good at the moment. And sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and you're playing against an unbelievable football player. And that's what he is. And, he's not very good technically and all. It's a load of garbage. So I feel like he is inevitable in a way. I'm not big into giving him space. That's my only big thing. I don't like when he's running at me into space. I thought Bournemouth played right into their hand last week. Can't believe how high Bournemouth's line were. Bournemouth had fucking centre half stepping into midfield and just leaving them in ounces of space. It was absolutely wild the way they played them. But Liverpool will play with a high line. But also, I'm just not big into backing. I'm not big into giving him 5 yards of space. I really hate how Canate defends, and I know people are going to laugh at that. Right? He always has to win his battle. Has to win his battle. He
We've talked about this before.
He loves winning a header. Right? Loves winning his battle. Loves getting close. And sometimes I'm just like, just stand off him for 5 yards. Let the striker take a first touch and try and turn you around. Do you know what I mean? Because what happens is sometimes I don't think Canate backs himself on the turn. The reason why, and this is probably getting, kind of mad into it. If you look at the Bellingham chance, he didn't back himself on the half turn. He felt like he got done. Let's be frank, he's been completely all ends up stud, right? And I don't think he likes that because he can be embarrassed a little bit. So that's why I feel like he has to win his battle. I think if I win the first header, he doesn't give a chance to turn me. He doesn't give him a chance to turn me. I actually want Canate to play like Canate this weekend and go, just try and win a header against him. Just try and make it really hard and rough for him. Don't give him them 2-3 yards of pace. It feels like he's just got pace out of nowhere, Gal. You see him run through on goal, mate, and you could have Usain Bolt and you can get near him.
When you see the guy run and then you see how quickly he finishes and his footwork, it doesn't matter where the ball comes off. Like, you ever notice, like, and who had this too, like at his pomp in the Premier League at that end of the time there, that big couple years when Harry Kane was at Spurs, right before he went, when he almost got the move to City, before they almost signed Haaland. There was that period where it didn't matter if Son took a shot.
Yeah.
Literally from, like, he would take the Gakpo shot, he'd cut in on his right, and he'd smash one just barely, and he'd catch the post, and somehow the ball would ricochet off the post 100 miles an hour, and Harry Kane would have his feet sorted perfectly to slot it back home. Like, it was ingrained in the finishing started while he was thinking about the finish while Foden is dribbling down the wing. Like, he's already getting his body right. And I do think that comes with the understanding of knowing where players are, what is happening.
Knowing the passes.
That's while Dead Wolf says Harry Kane's better than Haaland, if you want to talk about playing number 10 and still scoring 40 goals, maybe. But if you ask me, it's Space Jam-esque and we're playing the aliens for the world, and I got one striker to start the match, I'm starting Erling Haaland, and there's not even a question about
it. And listen, it's a fair comment, and that's an opinion. And I'm not here to say that's an awful opinion.
I don't totally disagree with it.
It's close, but the reason why I'm just Haaland at the moment, it doesn't matter who he plays against, he scores. And I just feel like that's just like a big thing to stop. But going back how we stop him, I think if Canate and Van Dijk, you just got to get rough. You just got to get rough to him and even pull him down, start taking some yellows. And, I'd love my two centre halves, my two midfielders walking off on the 90 with 4 yellows and 4 fouls on Haaland. Do you know what I mean? And go, by the way, we're Liverpool winning the game. And you go, that's exactly how you've done it then, Lance. That's how we do it. Gravenberch, Mach, Canate and Van Dijk are all booked because they all do fouls on Haaland.
We know the big guy is the center force. He scores almost all their goals, it feels like, at this point. Like, it's very little going through anyone else at this point. Taking him aside, not that we won't have him as our primary target, but taking him aside, where is the area? I know someone in the chat said, they were worried about Doku, and I think that's more probably talking about his pace and creating from the outside. It was Ryan here. I know Virgil will be on Haaland, but it's Doku I'm concerned about. Assuming Doku starts on the left-hand side.
I think so.
You have big concerns there. Is it a player like Phil Foden popping into the pockets? Is it Oscar Bob? Like, we don't know if Rodri will be fit or what type of Rodri is, because he doesn't look anywhere near up to the races. Where is it Liverpool should be looking to exploit this Manchester City side? Is it there's this pace of their center backs? Like, where would you be going at City when we're on the attack?
Nico Gonzalez. I don't think he's very good at football.
Neither does Pep, clearly, because he rolls out Reinders. He played Reinders out of form just to not play Nico Gonzalez.
But he's playing him every game.
No, now he is. You're right.
He is now, so he's had to play him. I don't think he's quick. I don't think he's strong. I don't think he's good on the half turn. I don't think he can pass well. I just think he's
You just think he's a wonderful number 6 for City to play on Sunday.
Yes, and if I'm Dominic Szoboszlai, I'm going. If you don't win the midfield battle, mate, I'm sorry. Like, you shouldn't be playing in that position. If you can't get at him, you have all the attributes, in my opinion, that can be better than him in terms of your pace and your physicality and stuff like that. I think you can intercept the ball off him quickly.
Would he be one of your triggers on the press when he gets the ball? Like, that would be.
It's also Szoboszlai. It's also Szoboszlai this game. And by the way, it should be also Szoboszlai for the next few games, because the way he's playing. Sometimes you just got to run with the hot hand. Sometimes you just got to, you know what I mean? And this goes back to the bigger point that I made before about Szoboszlai being at the age he is. Show me some leadership away from home. By the way, you did it last year at City. You were unbelievable at City last year. You did it. I've seen you do it. Do it again. Because that midfielder is not that great. And again, honestly, because, by the way, Man City can make you look stupid in a few days. Because Man City can go beat you 3-0 and you go, oh my God, unbelievable. And they can all make you look like an idiot. But I just feel like, I think he'll do Gonzalez. I don't think he's doing Rodri. I think it'd be interesting if he goes Rodri and Gonzalez, but I still feel like Gonzalez, there's still someone that you can get at. And I want Szoboszlai to show me what we're all talking about. What we can all see as fans. Go and show the outside world. It's the last game for the international break on the Sunday night. The whole world's watching. There's nothing else to do. Right? Everyone's hungover. We may as well just sit and order a Chinese, watch the Liverpool game with Man City. Great game. Because this is what happens in England, I'm telling you. We'll all order a Chinese, all hungover. We'll sit there and watch the footy. Go out there and put a proper performance in. And go and show out why you're playing like one of the best midfielders in the league at the moment. Go and show it. Go and show it. Because that's how you do it. You do it against these sides. You do it against when you go away from home in a really tough, hard environment, playing against a really good side. Go. Do you know what I mean? And this is go and see it now. You want Arsenal, whether Arsenal beat Sunderland or not, whatever, I don't care. But you want Arsenal to sit there on Sunday when Liverpool beat them and go, didn't want them, didn't want that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've still got to go there. Now it feels like we've got to win there. Do you know what I mean? Like that, you need to start creating that doubt. They've got a couple of hard games come back after the international break. They've got Spurs at home, whatever you
Chelsea.
It's their derby. You've got Chelsea away and things like that. They've got a few tough games. The last thing that they want to be to go on that international break is Liverpool looking there, going there and winning. And they all sit there and they Saliba and Gabriel and think, fuck's sake, man, we've got to go there, man. Do you know what I mean? What if Haaland, this is why it's so frustrating. I'm being 7 points behind when you've already beaten Arsenal. You've already beaten them. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is like, you shouldn't be 7 points behind a team inside 8-9 games.
I said it the other day. I was having a pub conversation with a guy and I said, this is where the United match bothers me so much. And I know me and you were together for that match.
Indeed.
It's where it bothers me so much because to me, that of all the losses, like I will take the L against Brentford all day long. Like I'll just take it. They outplayed us. We showed up with a bad performance. They exploited our weaknesses. We played poorly. There was never a moment in that match ever, even at 0-0, because it only lasted for 4 minutes and 18 seconds. Even at 0-0, I wasn't confident we were getting points from that match when I watched how it kicked off and the way they were playing. 5 minutes in, we're down 1. I was like, ooh, this don't look good. And we never looked like we had the fight. We weren't up for it. The United one's different. There's the weird call at the beginning. You give up a goal in 60 seconds. Play should be stopped. It takes a 87th minute set piece to undo you. We talked about it at 1-1. I genuinely felt like we were creating more chances. I know the manager today in his press conference said, I know you guys will hate me for saying this, but I thought the performance was better against United than it was against Villa, but I'll take the 3 points. Don't get me wrong. His argument was they actually created from open play, and it did take a pretty big mistake by the keeper and a deflection against Villa. So he would take the United one, but he won't take the result. For me, those 3 points dropped against United, basically, and maybe give me the draw against Palace and the win against United, and everything changes here because now you're 4 points, you're 3 points off in that situation. Yeah. And it doesn't feel as big of a difference. Now, don't get me wrong. We deserve to lose all those matches. But
yes,
the frustration was that there were opportunities in those matches. I chalked the Chelsea one up almost like I do the Brentford one. If you had told me we got a draw there at Stamford Bridge, I would have been fine with it. But over 90 minutes, they outplayed us at Chelsea. Over 90 minutes, Palace outplayed us, but we stayed in the match. So I didn't feel like United actually outplayed us. I just felt like they outdone us. And I just don't want to see this team be outdone again. And I just feel like the performance on Sunday is as important as the result. As much as I said, at the beginning, I'm going to get, Italian selfish now and I want all 3 points. A great performance in a 1-1 draw, a 2-2 draw, and it's not massive mistakes, and the heart and the energy is there.
Yeah.
And there's connections being built and there's progress. I can take that and I can still build on it. But if we seriously want to put some pressure on Arsenal between now and New Year's, we have to win this match.
Yeah, but there's no more hiccups. There's no more excuses. There's also part of this, gents, right, where us as fans should be holding the players accountable, because now we know the level you can get to. We know you can get to a level. We've just seen it for 2 games. You know what I mean? We've just seen you, like, for the intensity, the drive, the hunger to win your battles, second balls and things like that. We've just seen it. So there's no excuse anymore, boys. Like, there's your level. You maintain that level. Okay, you've had your fucking shit 4 weeks. We'll forgive that if you go and win a big one in May. We'll forgive that. But there's no more excuses, boys. There's no more taking chances. There's no more, it was really hard today against City. Yeah, you made it hard. Why did you make it hard? Because you didn't go and beat Brentford. So, but it's not a good point anymore. And Joe, I know we mentioned that last week. It's now not a good point. The reason why I probably changed my stance on that in the last 7 days is because Arsenal don't concede a goal. So you just need to go out and win your games.
Since August,
they don't concede. So
early September.
You need to go out and win your games of footy. There's no more excuses, lads. I've seen you do it now. I know you can get to that level. You know what I mean? I'm looking here, mate. I like a bit of it, like the Arsenal fixtures here, boys. So forget the other 2 that are coming up. But November the 30th, they play Chelsea away. December the 3rd, so just a 4-day turnaround. They're playing Brentford at home. We know Brentford can trouble anyone. We know that. 3 days later, the early kickoff, they go to Villa. I think if Liverpool, I don't care who we're playing, because I know we've got like Sunderland at home and Forest at home, West Ham away, by the way, and stuff like that. So we know we've got beatable teams, you'd like to say. That's a tough week for anyone, isn't it? That's a really, really tough week of footy for anyone. And, sometimes the fixture list can just grant you a hand. So the reason why I say that, Arsenal played at home. I'm pretty sure it was Graham Potter's West Ham. They played at home Foresters, Angers Forest.
Yep.
At all, which is two very different scenarios from where we're going to get the Sean Dyche Forest. Do you know what I mean? Which is going to be a tough game. I still expect Liverpool to win at home. But sometimes that's how the fixtures drop for you. And sometimes the fixtures drop for Liverpool like that last season in a little weird way. So, no more excuses. We know the level. You get back to your level. You get back to winning your battles, the fight, the drive, the hunger, all that. You go out there, you have really top players, and you back yourselves to go out and win the game. And then you sit there and go, all the pressure's on you now, boys, because you've never won it and we have won it. So let's go and see what you can do in the dog days in December and January. Do you know what I mean? And it's that part of this. That's where Liverpool win the league in February.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool win the league when they went to City and won the league. We all knew it.
The Villa. We play Villa, City, Everton, and that rescheduled fixture. We get all the points, and it's over.
Exactly. So this is the point.
And we expand. We also use all the energy that hurts us against PSG and in the League Cup final, but we win the fucking league.
And again, tied off.
We
Arsenal
won the league.
Arsenal threw the land in. They cast the chips in and went, this isn't it for us. Liverpool need to be there now. They need to feel like going to Sunderland on the weekend. Arsenal need to feel like on the 75th minute v Sunderland, if it's 0-0 or 1-1, they go, this isn't a good point. We've got to go. We've got to go here. Because if we draw, they win. They're only 2 games. Do you know what I mean? Like that. You always felt like when Liverpool it goes back to when Liverpool got 97 points to win the Champions League and don't win the league. They went into the new season going, just win every game. There's no good points. Liverpool, I only talk about the Villa game, right? The Villa away game and Mane scores together. Liverpool should take that one. I will argue to anyone, Liverpool should take the 1-1 draw. Liverpool should realise we battered that game. Robertson scores in the 87th, but that team just went, nope, don't care how we're playing. We will create a chance. It's a corner. They win the header, we win the game. But if Liverpool play like we've been saying for the last 4 weeks, Gally, we've been saying when we've been poor, just take the point if you Palace. Just take the point. You haven't played well, take the point. We haven't played well, take that point. Chelsea, for example, we haven't played well, just take your point. That team just went, we can't take a point. I feel like Arsenal have to be like that. They have to look on the 70-50 Sunderland if they are 1-1 and go, we can't take a point. And it'll be interesting to see how that team reacts. I'm super, super interested to see how Arsenal, what they're going to do with the lead. And go,
I've said all along,
does he keep the foot on the gas, Arteta? But basically, does he go?
I don't think he can. I don't think he coaches that way. And I think he'll get in his own head in some ways. I think he'll make some dicey. I mean, listen, one thing I will say is Arsenal's, we've talked about this a lot. They spent well. They absolutely made their squad deeper, better. Like last year, they were making substitutions and bringing in, the disgusting Partey. And now they're making those substitutions and bringing in a solid Christian Norgard for like League Cup matches. And he's a very solid kid they brought in, had to fill in for Saliba's, played pretty well. Like they got stronger. We know that. Eze is an improvement. They still have Trossard. They're going to get Havertz back. Gyökeres is out injured, but it sounds like it's just this week. He should be back after the international break. And I'd argue, I still think they're a better side when Havertz plays.
So
but it's
who's he doing up front then?
I think he is going to do Marino. He did Mourinho up front against in the Champions League, scored his 2 goals. I think it's only a week or two. Listen, I would not rule out Sunderland finding a way, as they showed at Stamford Bridge. That side is real.
R5, mate. R5 kickoff, Stadium of Light, cold, dark up the north, mate. You're going to find out, and they can get right up for this. I think Arsenal will win, by the way, but I think it's going to be a really hard game of footy. I think it's going to be really, really tough.
They've all been tough because they score 1 goal on set pieces and then they defend.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we shouldn't make this an Arsenal podcast, but it's always fun when we're saying negative things. This shocked me to no end. I gave you that stat about Courtois earlier. The only stat that is more shocking is since January 1st of 2025, do you know how many league assists Saka has?
January the 1st. So nearly a calendar year. 11 months into a calendar year. I'm going to say in the league 8. Oh, baby. Is that open play? Was that free kicks? Open play.
0 this season in all comps.
From open play, or is it just from... Okay.
And the part of that is Declan Rice has completely taken him over on the set pieces. I mean, I'd argue at this point, everyone talks about the Wonder Boy. I'd argue at this point that Declan Rice has become their most important player.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Everything. He is, and I'll say this right now, and this how we'll end the show, and we'll get back to more, this is a soccer footy show, but at this moment right now, if it wasn't for Erling Haaland, Declan Rice is the player of the season so far in the Premier League. And if Arsenal go on and win the league, I think he will actually win the award. I do. Like we talk about, I mean, maybe not if the kid scores 45 goals, but we talk about how it's usually a player on the winning team. He's usurped Odegaard as the leader on the pitch. He's scores the goals, pops up, makes runs, scores free kicks, takes all the set pieces, and then known for scoring on set pieces, and he defends. So maybe that's just me being a guy who wanted Liverpool to sign Declan Rice and everyone telling me he was a piece of shit that just passed the ball sideways.
Is he better than Caicedo?
He's probably not better at his position, I think, but from a player of the year standpoint and a voting standpoint, who would you
rather have in the Liverpool team?
I'd rather have Caicedo in the Liverpool team because it's what we don't have. And it's why we tried to sign that player.
I know,
We could talk all day about players Liverpool tried to sign that we want. So what we're going to do is end the stream here real quick. Cozzy, what is your prediction for Sunday?
I said it last night. I'll stick with it. But 3-1 Liverpool. I think it'll be 1-1 on the 75th.
I'm going to go 3-1 as well. I like that shout. Tony in the studio says, a Scouser and Italian talking football fills my heart with joy. Fills everybody else's opinions with anger, but that's all right because Cozzy and I don't give 2 shits, and that's why Fridays are fun. So for everyone here at American Scouser TV, thank you for watching. Up the Reds, and God damn it, winning is good.